Welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're taking a journey to discover this hidden engine that is literally driving our global economy. Now, when most of us think of travel, we usually picture, pristine beaches or wandering around historic monuments. But there is actually a massive, multi-trillion-dollar industry operating just below the surface. It's reshaping our cities, funding our local infrastructure, and forging these incredible global human connections. It's a fascinating world, and we're going to break down exactly how it all works.
To really understand how travel transforms our cities, we've got a great roadmap today. We're going to hit 6 key chapters: the global travel revolution, unpacking conference tourism, the 4 pillars of impact, Vision 2030 and Riyadh, the power of networking, and finally, challenges driving innovation. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's dive into this with Chapter 1, the global travel revolution from 1950 to modern connectivity. Travel has evolved so dramatically, it's wild to look back on. Back in the 1950s, commercial aviation opened up the skies, sure, but it was largely this highly exclusive luxury. Fast forward to the late 20th century and boom, the emergence of budget airlines completely democratized travel. Suddenly, hopping between continents wasn't just for the ultra-wealthy. And modern-day travel? It is completely supercharged by technology, globalization, and incredibly streamlined visa processes. Travel is now this highly accessible tool used by nations all over the world to compete, to build their brands, and to showcase their strengths on a global stage.
Which brings us to Chapter 2, unpacking conference tourism, because modern travel goes way beyond just sightseeing.
The sheer variety of the modern travel landscape is mind-blowing. People are crossing the globe for cultural immersion, natural wonders, sports, historical landmarks, religious pilgrimages, shopping, and honestly soon, even space. But today, we are zeroing in on one very specific branch, the economic branch, because right beneath that lies our hidden engine.
And that engine is known as MICE. That stands for meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions. This sector is an absolute economic powerhouse. In fact, it might surprise you to learn that this specific type of tourism is actually one of the top 10 motivators for global travel overall. It is the single largest driver of human interaction and economic movement in the entire world. We're talking about an industry that doesn't just fill up hotel rooms, it literally builds entire city infrastructures.
So why do cities fight so fiercely for this industry? Well, let's look at Chapter 3, the 4 pillars of impact, and how MICE transforms nations.
Every successful host city leans on these 4 specific pillars. First up, you have the economic drive and investment. Hosting thousands of professionals is basically a massive catalyst for local development. It funnels money directly into restaurants, transport, real estate, you name it. Second is nation branding. When global leaders visit, they form a real-world mental image of the city, and they take that impression home, which significantly boosts the country's overall reputation. Third is exporting services. It's an incredible opportunity to showcase and easily export local goods and consulting services. It's essentially making your local made-in label a global staple. And fourth, tourism attraction and culture. These attendees get a taste of the local culture while working, meaning they are highly likely to return later as leisure tourists with their families.
And this brilliantly illustrates who's winning at this game. Look at these highly diverse global cities leveraging these exact pillars to attract wealth and international attention. From Dubai and Abu Dhabi in the Middle East, to Dallas and Vegas in the Americas, to Madrid, Singapore, and Cairo. All of these hubs are strategically using conference tourism to fuel their local economies and permanently cement their status on the world map.
Let's make this concrete. Chapter 4, Vision 2030, and Riyadh, a strategic case study.
Now, to capture this market, your logistics have to be flawless. Saudi Arabia, for example, is distributing its focus across 13 administrative regions to intentionally boost localized economies. But their transit strategy is what's really clever here. Capitalizing on their geographical position connecting continents, they are implementing 300 transit flights and introducing these super easy 4-day transit visas. Think about what that means. It allows a business traveler heading from London to Australia to easily stop over in Riyadh for a 3-day conference. It's a very deliberate, calculated move to position Riyadh as a global connecting hub, honestly very much like the competitive advantage London has historically enjoyed over in Europe.
And the impact of that nation branding strategy? It's completely tangible. Take this quote from a group of Greek attendees at a recent entrepreneurship conference in Riyadh. They straight up called it their dreamland for investment, entrepreneurship, and innovation. This specific anecdote perfectly highlights the real-world impact of successful cross-cultural business exchange. It completely, fundamentally reshapes the global perception of a city.
Let's move to Chapter 5 and see how this builds on a micro level. Chapter 5,
the power of networking, and the human element.
The way we actually behave at these events is fundamentally changed. Look, traditional business travel used to be pretty rigid. You fly in, sit in formal sessions all day, and fly immediately home. But today, we've entered this whole new era of bleisure, the blend of business and leisure, which really took off post-COVID. Attendees now stay 3 to 4 extra days, they hit up co-working spaces to keep up with their remote work, and then they dive headfirst into localized tourism. For instance, someone might go to a conference in Greece not just for the sessions, but to spend the weekend sailing. Or they might extend a trip just to explore some local hiking trails.
Which brings us to my absolute favorite shift in modern attendee behavior, the lobby strategy. A lot of high-level professionals attending these massive conferences never even enter a single panel session. Nope, they spend their entire 3 days sitting right in the lobby, purely for intense networking. Their singular goal is to build relationships, exchange contacts, and sign deals right outside the exhibition halls. For them, the physical event is literally just an excuse to get all the right people in one room.
Because human behavior is so varied, continuous research into attendee personas is absolutely crucial. A host city needs to know exactly who is showing up. For example, research might show that a specific demographic of Chinese tourists strongly prefers distinct cultural activities. Or, cities need to know if an attendee is a solo hiker looking to actively jump into extreme sports, or a big spender bringing their whole family along for entertainment. By understanding these personas, cities can perfectly tailor their logistics, their infrastructure, and their marketing to maximize that economic benefit.
Now, what's really interesting about this next part is the reality check. Chapter 6, Challenges Driving Innovation, or basically, the cost of growth.
Let's be real. The reality on the ground is that when a city hosts a massive global event, the local impacts can be an absolute logistical nightmare. The sudden influx of tens of thousands of people overnight creates severe traffic bottlenecks and sudden road closures. It leads to spikes in environmental pollution and the massive demand for short-term accommodation that can cause local rent prices to skyrocket, heavily impacting the daily lives of the people who actually live there.
Faced with these massive disruptions, cities are left with a pretty critical choice. Do we just stop hosting these lucrative events, or do we innovate?
Well, the answer, of course, is innovation. Solving these extreme local bottlenecks forces cities to get incredibly creative. It acts like a pressure cooker. They have to develop cutting-edge traffic management systems, brand new sustainable energy practices, and brilliant logistical software. And the best part? Once they solve these problems locally, they create robust new systems that they can then export to the rest of the world. The intense challenges of hosting actually become the birthplace of next-generation urban technology.
Which leaves us with one final, pretty provocative thought to wrap up. If a single conference has the power to completely reshape a city's infrastructure, fund its development, and export new technological innovations to the globe, what industry will travel transform next? The next time a major convention rolls into your city, look past the crowded restaurants and the traffic jams. You are watching a hidden economic engine hard at work. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep observing the world around you.